Yo, what's going down? It's your boy King Spence, and if you from Oklahoma, make sure you watch this video. There's a reason this is in your timeline, probably because you're an artist or you support the local artists in your city. Big Mouth TV and Films just dropped the top 30 artists of 2025 list. I love when they do this. Just turn the state up every single time. It's a great way to get listeners and just locals engaging and talking and checking out new artists. It's a dub for the state every single time. So big shout out to Big Mouth TV and Films. Y'all gonna hear me referring to them as BMF throughout this video because it is kind of a long title. So I'm gonna just call them BMF respectfully, with short for Big Mouth Films. But man, shout out to y'all. Today we're gonna be going over all 30 artists. I got a hot take for all 30 artists that's on this list. This was a big deal. A lot of people are talking about it right now. I got my Instagram pulled up so that we can double check some of the facts. I have familiarized myself with all of the artists on the list. There's no artist on this list that I have not done some amount of research on. So I want to just kind of jump in on why this is important. What Big Mouth TV and Films is doing, what BMF is doing is huge. It gives artists the opportunity to get a spotlight. In a lot of ways, this is kind of validation and for local artists to move to the next level. I think a lot of the times people from outside of our city, outside of our state, might look at these lists and be like, "Who is this at number one? Who is this at number two? Who is this at number three?" Everybody kind of below number 10 might get overlooked by outsiders, but the top 10 people might actually show a genuine interest in. So shout out to Big Mouth for creating this platform so that people can have the opportunity to gain that validation and awareness through exterior platforms like this. Now, there are a few issues that I see with the top 30 list, which everybody is. And my issues aren't because my favorite artists aren't number one and number two and number three or anything like that. It's just, I feel like an inconsistency in the measurements. I don't know if they're basing the ratings or the rankings off of views, followers, subscribers, quality, perceived reach, consistency, their potential. I don't know. I don't know how one person ranks higher than the other. There are so many different criteria that we can base it off of, but I don't know because they don't really give you a lot of details as to how they rate each person, where they're rated. Another minor issue that I see, and this is me just being kind of nitpicky, and that's the misspelling of some people's names. You know what I'm saying? Now, you wouldn't notice that their name is spelled wrong, like Jake Banfield's name or even Lotto's name. You wouldn't notice that, but I just know, like, my name, King Spencer, my real name, Jayon. A lot of the times, there's been times where my name was misspelled. Nobody else in the world knew it, but I knew it. And it kind of just slightly dims my light personally. But I do just want to offer this critique in public just so that, you guys can be double checking me when I'm spelling stuff. And also we can be making sure that we spelling people's names right, because at the end of the day, all you got is your name. You know what I'm saying? And then one of the last things that I really didn't understand, or issues that I see with this, is just like the randomization of genres. They're like, it's 98% hip hop, but then they threw in a couple other genres also. And I didn't really understand that. I kind of disagree with that. I feel like we need to have, if it's going to be all Oklahoma artists, all the artists, it need to be all genres of Oklahoma artists, not just one or two from a different genre. Or we need to have different lists for different genres. That's just my take though. But still, I respect the list. I love what they did. And even with the artists that weren't hip hop artists, they made me aware to like a new person. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to them for that. But I do think that in the future, it'd be dope if they provided some form of a criteria on why they basing each artist, where they putting them, just for people like me who kind of care. You know what I'm saying? Most people don't care. And it's not important, because at the end of the day, as long as y'all building a conversation, I feel like it's a dub. But me personally, I like to know the criteria as to why you making my favorite artist less than this guy, or why you making them better than this guy. You know what I'm saying? But one thing that I do want to say before we get into it is I'm gonna be giving my opinion, and I'm gonna give y'all a general criteria as to why I'm saying it's right or wrong. For each artist, I'm gonna say whether I think they're in the right spot or whether I think they need to be moved up or down on the list. It's mostly intuition, but I have done my research on every last single artist. There's not one artist on this list that I'm not a little bit or a lot familiar with. I'm kind of gonna go based. I'm not gonna base their stuff off is their music. Their music is the one thing that you cannot judge somebody from because it's subjective. Something you like be something I love, and something I love might be something you hate. So none of these artists are gonna be, all 30 of these artists can't possibly be your favorite, but they're somebody's favorite. So that's the one thing that my list will not be based off of. I will not be able to say one person's music is better than the other. All I really can go off of is more objective things like views, followers, subscribers, um, the quality that they put out, the amount of reach they get in like likes and comments and stuff like that, how consistent they are, and just like style, just general potential. That most of us will probably agree. I expect some pushback. I don't expect everybody to agree with me. I'm friends with a lot of the people on this list, but today I'm serving as a critic. I'm not trying to be nobody's friend today. I'm just here to be honest, but I'm not interested in dimming anybody's light. I think this is a great way that they have shined light on all these artists, but it is never, if you know me, you know it's never my intention to dim somebody's light. I'm not a hater, but some people are just kind of egotistical or whatever, and they feel like they can't be corrected. So if you do take this the wrong way, I apologize in advance. Everything I say will be backed by my what I perceive as a fact. So all the disclaimer stuff is done. We got 30 artists. I'm gonna try to get through this kind of quick so that I'm not sitting here having y'all watching me all day long. We probably already 8 minutes into the video. So one last thing I gotta say. Everybody on the list don't gotta be the best because they get a lot of YouTube views or they got a lot of subscribers or Spotify plays. Some people have like highlight moments on TikTok or just have a stupid successful press run that none of the content is connected to their actual page. So everything that makes somebody rank higher isn't always going to be related to how many followers they got or one specific topic. Some of these people you don't know about. A lot of these people you don't know. I know all of them now, but it's your job to do your due diligence to research all of these artists and see what you can come up with. Now, before I even started doing this review, I had to think there's 30 artists on this list. Who's not on this list? And I thought to myself, I was like, who are like some artists that are not on this list? And I said, I'm gonna list at least 30 artists that are not on this list that could be, that are just active in the Oklahoma music scene. While trying to only list 30, I actually came up with 110 artists that are not on this list. There are at least 110 artists in Oklahoma that I personally can think of without trying too hard to come up with that are not on this list. And, that says a lot. So for you to be one of the top 30 artists in Oklahoma, I feel like that's a big that's a big thumbs up. I don't know the word I'm looking for, but that's pretty big. So you'll notice me throwing in different artist names that's not on here while also keeping some that are in. But, just keep in mind, it's at least 110 active Oklahoma artists that were not mentioned on this list. So with no further ado, man, let's jump straight into it. At number 30, we got Clovis Capri. So I'm very familiar with Clovis. He's I don't know if he was born in a different state and moved here, or if he moved here and just spent a little bit of time in a different state. But he is actually doing a lot of hard work in Tulsa. He's a very hard worker. He's very intentional with his productions. He always has a plan, and he's a elite dot connector. He works with artists from all over. He's actually the one responsible for that video that previously dropped with Phil Sosa, OTSJ Honcho, Say So to P, and Mike the Don, all on the same song. Like he be on like some DJ Khaled type time with the stuff that he be putting together. So they got him at number 30. And I would say that like Clovis is definitely the type of person that you want to have on your team. And I understand he's lacking the popularity that a lot of the top tier upper artists might have, but he's made himself very familiar, at least in Tulsa, through his collaborations. And I feel like he could be up there with any of these guys once he gets more established as an Oklahoma artist. I would say that putting him in the top 30 was the right thing to do. Would I put him higher or lower? I mean, would I put him any higher than 30? I actually would. I would move Clovis up within few 5 spots. So ultimately, I would say BMF got it right. I actually think that he deserves just a little bit more shine once you do the research and see just how hard he has been working. But that's just what I think. All right, so at number 29, we got Back End Hustle. He is a big deal in the state of Oklahoma, if you ask me. He a very highly recognized artist. He surfaced higher than most of these artists that's previewed on this list. Went back like 5-6 years ago when he was, I can remember a time he was easily doing 50K on a video within a month. I can remember that. There was a time that Hustle was up there. He changed his name from J Hustle to Back End Hustle, but he's easily one of the most noticeable artists in Oklahoma, and he's doing his thing. He got the image. He be pulling the money out. He be pulling the cars out. I mean, and as of this last year, he did have kind of a slowdown. 2025 probably wasn't his most productive year because he was he was involved in an incident that we're not going to discuss too much about, but let's just say that it set him back just a little bit in terms of his production for 2025. I think that putting him at 29 is very debatable because this wasn't his biggest year. You got artists like SYB Slowbucks, Gangstar Lil South, Seven Kruger, even No Hezo, that could be debatable for a spot like number 29. And I feel like they've all 5 of these artists have had similar years. Like all of them have had a similar year in 2025. So I don't know what's your take on it, but I will argue that I would possibly have to bring Hustle down a spot or two. And I'm a fan of him. So as a fan, I love to see him as a top 30 artist in Oklahoma, but I just understand that his productivity for this year wasn't as high as it would have been had he not got caught up in any situations. So 2026, I can only imagine what that year will look like for him. But as a fan, spot 29 is dope, but I do kind of think that we could have gave that spot to a more productive artist for this year. But shout out to Hustle, no shade, all love, and we're gonna move on to the next guy. All right, so at number 30, we got my dog Mike Phil, man. So he's another elite collaborator that I think is very well connected once you get to know him. The criteria that this list was based on wasn't explained, so it's a little confusing seeing an R&B singer, on a 98% Oklahoma hip hop artist list. But maybe it's because Mike Phil is included in a lot of rap stuff. You know what I'm saying? You go to shows where it's mostly rap artists, you'll see Mike Field performing. He's very involved in the rap scene, even though he's a R&B singer. He collabs with a lot of rap guys. So I can see why they included him on this list. But I kind of feel like it should be separated. Like he should be on an R&B list. Because just think about it. He's like the only R&B artist on this list. So does that make him the number 1 R&B artist and the number 28 the number 28 Oklahoma artist, but the number 1 R&B artist, if you get what I'm saying? And also, I feel like he's a lot more consistent and way more productive than a lot of the guys that are listed before him. So it did also make me wonder, why is he number 28 if he is going to be on the list? Shouldn't he be higher? He a lot more established than a lot of those guys, and he arguably, one of the best R&B artists in Oklahoma. So I didn't understand why he was ranked so low. But even with that said, I feel like that almost makes some guys irrelevant. You got artists like Super J from Oklahoma City, Joe Money, and then here in Oklahoma, in Tulsa, you got Bam Beezy and Young Nasty Baby. They joint venture that I think needs to be considered as, why are they not mentioned somewhere on the list if Mike Phil is the only R&B artist? You put all of these guys at a table, which one has to stand up? You know what I'm saying? So overall, I think that, I'm okay with him getting number 28. I'm not saying that it needs to be, it definitely shouldn't be lower, but more than anything, I would just take him off of the list or move him higher. One of the two. All right, so next up on the top 30, we got Skinny Boy T at number 27. This is a young boy that I really like. He's from Tulsa, Oklahoma, and I got mad love for this kid, and it's great to see him getting the flowers that he deserves. He's been working for a minute. You would think that he a new Oklahoma artist, but he's been getting to it, and he actually does crazy numbers. I like to think of Skinny Boy T as like a crossover artist because he don't really get in the drill bag that he used to anymore. And that shocking music does real big number. That shock value music does really big numbers to the point that it's kind of hard to go back to rap about normal life stuff after you do stuff like that. But Skinny Boy T is one of the artists that's actually able to diversify himself into a way different bag, and that's where you see stuff like what he's been doing here lately on Come Through Tulsa and with Ozzy and I think Wallace Productions. The boy been going crazy, and I respect BMF for even adding him to the list. Now, I do think they gave him a solid placement in the top 30, but I would say push him back slightly lower to squeeze in somebody like UPG, a Millie, or even this other young guy. I think he's from Oklahoma City. I'm not sure. I'm sorry if I got it wrong, but his name is TNP Sino. I think that's another artist that's considerable to be at like a top 30, 27 area. But ultimately, yeah, I will push Skinny Boy T back, but he is, in my opinion, a top 30 Oklahoma artist. All right, so now we at number 26, YWD Kyran. This was a new find for me. I feel like I've seen him before, but I didn't really lock in until this list dropped. So again, shout out to BMF on finding and publishing another great artist on a page. I just added him to my personal radar, and I think he everything that we're looking for in a serious Oklahoma rapper. He can actually rap. He has the unique image. He has the entourage, followers. He get the views. Talk about entertaining subjects in his music. I think that he a good ad. I think he a solid top 30 to put on our list. I mean, what more can we ask for? I just found out about him, but I like the idea of him being on the top 30. And I would say, I would even say, make sure y'all go check him out. 26 is solid. We're gonna keep him locked in where he at. Spencino approved. All right, so next up we got that boy Payday 400. I believe he's from Oklahoma City. I'm not sure. I think it'd be tight to add like the city that they actually from so that we can, put some respect on it. You know what I'm saying? But this was another talented find. I feel like another huge shout out to BMF because it's platforms like this that make finding new artists, new Oklahoma artists that are worth listening to very easy. You know what I'm saying? So y'all gotta do y'all research. And when you do, you'll find out that, he been doing his thing. You can find him in New York performing. He done been on the big platform like Behind the Bars with Half Pint. And the footwork is there. I can say we've seen better numbers from lower ranked artists. Like some of the artists that are below him have done better numbers, I would say. But as a Oklahoma artist, the consistency is there, the sound is there, and he is doing footwork that, a lot of artists are not doing. Now, is it because he has more followers that they put him at number 25? It's hard to say. Another dope artist, he is another dope artist, but as a critic, I would have to say I am surprised that he ranked as a top 30 in the state of Oklahoma. No doubt a top 50, but I mean top 25, there's space for some other missing artists that are doing arguably the same thing, like for instance, OTM Money or even Lil Man Wright. Those are some people I would consider, possibly putting at a spot 25. But, that's neither here nor there. All that said, they getting on prominent platforms. Ultimately, I would say that Payday would need to move it down a spot or two just to make some space for some artists that's doing the same thing but getting higher numbers. You get what I'm saying? Hopefully that makes sense. All right, number 24, we got Polo number 2, man. This is my guy at Lawton, Oklahoma. Now, come on, y'all. Y'all know Polo is lit. He's surely an underdog on this list, and I feel like a major sleeper in Oklahoma. Polo is a Lawton drill artist and a very viral personality. If you know, you know. I agree with the placement of Polo at number 24, although I do believe he is arguably one of the most likely to make a dramatic jump in the year 2026 if he remains consistent. mostly because he got a very unique personality. I feel like the industry and we as people are always searching for something new and vibrant, and I feel like he's that. Here in Oklahoma, he's just becoming very familiar to us, but the moment that the rest of the United States gets a hold of him, I think that'll just boost his popularity and send him through the roof. So shout out to BMF. I feel like y'all got it right with Polo at number 24. Number 23, we got Ox Skrilla, man. This is another one of my very favorites in the town on this entire list. He's one of the few artists that I actually listen to. So as a fan, I would say he needs to be in the top 5. You know what I'm saying? As a fan, that's what I would say. But honestly, as a critic, I would actually move him down or even off the top 30. It's hard and risky to make music the forefront of your life when you competing on a level that I feel like he could be competing on or creating on. That's why I don't never hold it against him. But you see, like, he barely trying. He barely tried in 2025, as what I would describe as barely trying, and he made the top 30 list. So imagine what's gonna happen when he really start applying that pressure. That's how I look at Ock. Like, he probably dropped like 2 or 3 times this entire year, but he placed that the top 25 artist in Oklahoma. I feel like he just got that kind of aura. You know what I'm saying? I feel like he is definitely amongst the best in Oklahoma. Very talented, timeless hustlers music, and one of my personal favorites. But personally, I don't feel like 2025 was one of his most productive years. And that's the only reason I would bump him down from the top 30. But that's just my opinion. Number 22, Heavy Hearted, man. Come on now. Shout out to Heavy. Heavy is very deserving of a top 30 spot in Oklahoma. He everything you wish your favorite artist was. He's consistent, creative, he engages. Heavy, I feel like Heavy understands the concept of staying down and being diligent. He only been dropping in Oklahoma for maybe 2 years now, but I feel like he's passed up artists that's been dropping for 10 years that didn't even make this list. You know what I'm saying? If you don't know him now, I'm sure you're gonna start seeing him popping up on your timeline because he's just being that consistent. And you probably already passed by him once or twice, just didn't recognize who he was. And it'd be like that. Sometimes you got to see somebody 3, 4, 5 times before you start to notice that you're seeing them. You know what I'm saying? But shout out to Heavy. Overall, I say this is a good placement, and I expect him to rise in the next 12 months to even like a top 15 artist in Oklahoma. All right, y'all. So next up, we got that boy CFN Jizzle as a top 21 artist in the state of Oklahoma. Now, y'all want to know my take on this? I don't know where Jizzle came from, but ever since the very first time I met him, he has just got better and better. He everywhere. You see him on the OK, you see him on Spade TV, you see him on Come Through Tulsa, you see him on your timeline. I'm telling you, bro, he's really been putting in the work. I feel like 21 is actually an understatement. I feel like he should be higher than top 21. I feel like he should be like top 15. That's just me. That's just what I think. Just based off of the work ethic. You know what I'm saying? If not top 15, at least give him top 20. Move him up a spot or 2 if you can't give him 5 or 6. You know what I'm saying? But he got this song that I'm playing the video to right here called Misunderstood with GQ and Scholar Kid on the visual. And I promise it's just something about that song that just make you want to it's like motivational. It's just like, I don't know. He's just so turned in this song. He got the voice, he got the demeanor. He got everything that you're looking for, the sound, the image. He even got the management that I feel like as long as you keep everything intact and stay consistent, keep working, there's no reason why he won't be a for sure top 20 next year going into 2026. But I feel like for the most part, I would move Jizzle up. So now we're moving into the top 20 artists for the state of Oklahoma. I'm gonna continue to give y'all my opinion on this stuff. Y'all, whether I feel like it's spot on or it need a little tweaking. We got WAP at number 20. You know, Slow Mo Doo-Wop, this is my dog. This is what you call an Oklahoma artist. Even if he don't say he from Oklahoma or wherever he might tell y'all he from, he got the state approval for representing Oklahoma. I mean, you can go anywhere with this guy from Lawton, Oklahoma City, Tulsa, or anywhere in between. And he got very reputable sources that's looking out for him and vouching for him, that's keeping him locked in. Like even right now, he's doing a video with Joseph Media, which is a Tulsa videographer, with Scabo Zoe, which is a Oklahoma City artist. You know what I'm saying? Like, bruh is a dot connector. He's one of the highest ranked artists on the list that hasn't done a major platform appearance. Like, I mean, outside of Come to Tulsa, but I've not seen him on Famous Animal or Spade, and it just goes to show that you don't need that stuff if you just good and you stay consistent. You don't need none of these platforms if you just nice. You know what I'm saying? If you know how to network, if you know how to, you see him doing stuff with Phil Sosa. People know who he is if you really hip to the Oklahoma music scene. But I feel like once he does add some of those, it's only going to hype him up even more. It's just going to build his following even more. It's just going to build the conversation around his name and make it even stronger. And And that's the kind of growth I look forward to seeing from WAP for the year 2026. But I think top 20 is okay, but top 15 probably be better if you ask me. I'll be moving him up on my list. All right, let's talk about it, man. We at number 19. Demo 2 times. Duncan, Oklahoma. Oklahoma City. Lawton, Oklahoma. Whatever you want to call it, that's the Oklahoma man that you're looking at on your screen right now. You feel me? This is one of Oklahoma's most valuable artists, if you ask me. I feel like he's one of the most valuable assets that Oklahoma has in terms of hip hop artistry. He top 10, man. When it come to when he top 10, man, y'all gotta check him out. Bro's catalog ain't even like, we gotta be for real. He got a serious catalog from the visuals to the features to everything that you looking for in an artist. This is the guy. I can't give him number 19, me personally. He works entirely too hard. He has some of the best, crispiest visuals. Shout out Scholar Kid on this one, but he got Prophecy. I didn't even shot, like some come throughs for him. He got dope stuff in his arsenal, you know what I'm saying? And he got a dumb support system. He's done all the numbers on all the major platforms. You can see him right here on the behind the bars going crazy. But he's done all of the major platforms: Spade TV, Famous Animal. He's done the what's that joint called? The behind the bars. This is what we looking for when we looking for artists that's trying to break the threshold and the ceiling of Oklahoma artists. He's doing all the right things. And then his music don't sound like it was recorded in a trash can. You feel me? He got very quality, crispy sound. He got the star image. When you see him, he looked like he's somebody. You know what I'm saying? I feel like we need to move him up to the top 10, me personally. Top 10 Oklahoma artist, in my opinion. I don't know what disqualified him from being in the top 10, but I'm definitely saying he's up there on my list. We moving Demo up. All right, y'all, we at number 18, Sky High. Come on now. This is what I would say is Oklahoma's princess. You hear me? This is Oklahoma's princess. She doing her thing. Oklahoma's sweetheart. You feel me? You can literally consume days of content of hers on YouTube, from shorts to vlogs, music, and interviews. She got a ton of interviews on YouTube that you can go check out. The quality of her visuals is stupid dummy. I mean, just look at it. Not too many artists that's coming with this level of production in the state of Oklahoma. I love to see Oklahoma female artists getting the spotlight, and I want to see more of it, me personally. But even with that being said, I feel like this list is actually missing a few other female artists, but Sky is honestly definitely deserving of the spot that she got. Her catalog compares to industry catalog, and clearly her videos do too. Sky's unmatched in her level of, I feel like Sky's unmatched in her level of production and in consistency. Like, she's doing everything right, from the profile pictures to the way that she presents herself on the internet. She is the essence of a true artist, I feel like. And 18 on her is cool. I expect her to stay in the top 20 spot for as long as she's making music. So I'll say that BMF got this one right. All right, so number 17, we got my boy 200, man. So 2 is a super sleeper because he isn't mainstream yet. And I feel like as long as he ain't mainstream, he's being slept on. That's just what I feel like, you know what I'm saying? Bro, I feel like if he was from like a bigger city like Dallas or Atlanta or Houston or something like that, he would have been already made it with the work ethic that he got. I feel like he's gonna have to work 5 times harder to get the spotlight and, the following and the support that I feel like his music, his sound, his quality actually deserves. Y'all just gotta binge watch all his content one day and you'll see how deep he really is. This is one of the only international artists on this list. So 17 is cool, but I would personally bump him up just to add the emphasis on his catalog in comparison to some of the artists that's listed above him. So, with 2, we pushing him up. All right, now we on to the biggest 8, OTSJ Huncho, representing Tulsa, Oklahoma. And, come on, bro. Huncho top 10, you know what I'm saying? Who really putting on for the state like Huncho, Some might argue that his numbers aren't as high as some of our most popular artists, but the creativity is there, the consistency is there, the quality and even the demand for his music is there. He got a style and branding that's out of this world. I feel like it's an easy top 10, and that's a no-brainer for me. I don't see how he wasn't top 10, but I feel like we need to move him up. So on my list, Huncho is getting boosted up. All right, y'all, we at number 15, BTD DD. Come on, bro. How did DD get pushed down to number 15? This is crazy work to me, BMF. Y'all got to explain this to me, man. Y'all got to explain this to me. This is Didi we talking about, man. Like, let's be for real. You know what I'm saying? It's a tough call because me personally, I don't know whether to classify Didi as a local artist or industry artist at this point. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to say. I don't know if he already made it or if he's still local. But You know, he is one of the only artists on this list that could stop dropping music for a year and easily come back and do 10, 20K in a month. You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy that they got him at number 15 because bro's numbers are ridiculous. I can easily count over 200,000 new clicks on his YouTube videos for the last 8 months. In the last 8 months, he done his name BTDDD done accumulated over 200,000 plays. That's crazy to me personally, and to be a number 15. There's not probably more than 2 or 3 artists on this list that's doing that on YouTube alone. Only 2 or 3 artists on the entire list is doing that. You know what I'm saying? And then you got to think he did that EBK J-Bo collab. That was monumental. You know what I'm saying? I feel like the kind of streaming success he's having is unmatched in the state of Oklahoma. Presumably, like that's what my assumption is. But I feel like he should have been top 3. You know what I'm saying? Diddy is arguably top 3 in my book, and nobody on this list is really contending with that. None of the qualifying artists on this list is really contending with that. But you know, that's my opinion. We gotta bump Diddy up. All right, so now we done moved on to number 14, which is K4M. This was a dope find, man. I'm gonna keep it real though. Who pulling up Maybach truck? Who pulling up Maybach truck in Oklahoma? Talk to me, y'all. I even seen a video he was pulling up in Boley with the horses, riding horses like a real Oklahoma boy. You feel me? Come on now. You go to his Instagram page, he posted up in front of the Shea Gilchrist Alexander picture. You know what I'm saying? He ain't scared to represent where he from, and he pulling up Maybach truck. There's only one other artist in Oklahoma that I can really say doing that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love seeing this kind of stuff. Like, this is that industry stuff that we looking for. Y'all got to stop playing with the kid name, man. He been buzzing all year. I even saw this, like, I couldn't find the clip, but it was like a clip of Big Yavo rapping the words to his song. I don't think it was AI generated either. I think it was real, man. Come on now. Come on, y'all. Be for real. If you're not from OKC, you're probably not as familiar, but now you are, bro. Go check out K4M. I actually believe he's going to be performing with Gang Ty June and Reese Money and Phil Sosa in Oklahoma City next month or in February. Make sure y'all there for that, man. That's huge. It's an easy top 10 for me. Easy top 10. Stop playing with the kid. Y'all already know me. I'm bumping him up. All right, number 13, y'all. We got Say So to P, man. This is one of my personal favorites. I like to think of him as a top 5 Tulsa artist. I feel like he won the top 5 in Tulsa alone. But let me switch my screen back. I like to think he won the top 5 in Tulsa alone. When you put Say So to P and Ozzy together, bro, they come up with some crazy stuff, bro. Look at the stuff they be coming up with. This is crazy, bro. That Say So and Ozzy, man. That Say So and Ozzy combo is vicious. And bar for bar, song for song, I think that Say So is actually better than 90% of the artists on this list. Bar for bar, song for song. But like I said, we not rating music, so I take that back. I'm sorry, y'all, because I cheated just now. But that's just what I think, all right? But I haven't actually seen him putting the footwork or the numbers that some of the artists that's lower than him are ranked, or even some unranked artists. So, you know, in Tulsa, he top 5, in my opinion, in terms of like his creativity and, you know, potential and stuff like that. And I think he a top tier artist, but on an Oklahoma scale, with so many other artists that's contending and, you know, coming a little bit stronger than I feel like he is and having a little bit more motion musically, I would have to say we got to pull Say So down a little bit on the top 30 list. I would actually move him out of the top 15. But respectfully, very respectfully, shout out to Say So. The top 12 artists, and at 12, we got Sauce Me Up GQ, man. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. This is one of the big debates that I've had. Is GQ one of the best things that Oklahoma has to offer musically? It's hard to separate GQ's success as a producer from his music. It's a package deal. It's kind of like trying to separate Chris Brown from dancing. Like, bro, you can't separate it. Just because he's so good at this don't mean that you can take away something else. It's a package deal. He make dope beats and he rap. That's just how this go. Chris Brown sing real good and he dance with it. You can't separate it. It bleeds into the other thing. So the day that Chris Brown become a kind of bad dancer, his ability for singing is gonna keep it up. You know what I'm saying? But that's just my opinion. So Musically, I feel like GQ is a cheat code in Oklahoma because he already got half the battle won with his beats. His beats are some of the best beats that you can get in Oklahoma behind like a Rob Stovall. You know what I'm saying? He's like a top 5 producer in Oklahoma. Undeniably. Just listen to your favorite rapper song and it probably got that sauce me up GQ on the intro. Like, let's be for real. Like, he's one of those guys. He's one with the beats. And then you got to add in the numbers that he does and the support that he gets on regular drops. Like, his regular numbers are better than some of the other artists' boosted numbers. He get the collabs. He got all the features that, like, come on, bro. We talking about sauce me up GQ. We got to give him his credit. I feel like he should be a top 10 artist. I don't feel like he should really ever be under top 10 in my personal opinion. The consistency is there. He's one of the best things that the state of Oklahoma has to offer. So I say bump him up. We bumping him up to top 10. We on to number 11, 5th Gen Kato. Kato reminds me of Too Fat when he first got out of jail, how he just hit the ground running. Drop after drop, I think Kato is amongst the most popular artists in Oklahoma. He's definitely one of the most popular in Oklahoma City. If you haven't heard his name, keep listening. You will hear it. He's an elite collaborator, and he's been working with people from Lawton. You can see him with the Too Fat Trub collab. You can see him with the Bim Latin Tulsa collab. I mean, he's doing the collaborating that kind of which is kind of necessary in Oklahoma to some degree. You know what I'm saying? All of our most popular artists have done the collab thing, and I feel like he's executing perfectly on that. He has a sound that's easy to listen to, and if you listen to all his music, you will easily gravitate towards one or two songs. Again, he got like a very sophisticated vocabulary in the way that he talk. It's like gangster music, but it's fun to listen to. Even with all that said, I do feel like artists like GQ, DD, and even Demo better for this spot. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like they are more qualified, I guess, for this spot in terms of their production, the things that they've done, the things they're doing, the numbers that they get. I feel like they are better qualified for a top 11 spot. But that's just what I think. I still believe that he will be a top 30 artist, but I feel like the position in which that he's currently placed is very debatable. So for me, I'm going to be bumping Kato down a couple spots. We at number 10. We at the top 10 Oklahoma artists now, y'all. This is the top 10. Too Fat Trub. Now, to me, Trub is undeniably a top 5 artist in the state of Oklahoma. I would need some serious convincing to prove otherwise. Me personally, that's what I think. There isn't a statistic that we can lay out that Trub don't lay in the top 10. In that fact alone, if we talking followers, we talking views, we talking consistency, we talking collaboration, footwork, potential platforms, any of that stuff, Trub is in the top 10 of any of those conversations. Top 10 of any of those conversations for Oklahoma artists. That should automatically qualify him as a top 5 artist, in my opinion. That's my opinion. And then you got to think about the last 12 months. Since last December, bruh he been spazzing. He done gave us the Chicken Pea feature. He gave us the Skilla Baby feature. Like, come on, bro. Who really doing that? Nobody's giving us these high-level production features like Trub is. Like, I mean, I guess Juice kind of was. But right now, Trub is the one that's going out there and getting that and bringing that type of spotlight back to Oklahoma. We got to get it to him. And I want to say in the last 12 months, he done dropped 4 projects. 4. Like, come on, y'all. How we going to put him at top 10? He needs to be top 5. He is top 5 in Oklahoma. That's my opinion. I don't know how he does what he's doing. The engine behind this man is crazy. He just dropped this video probably like 3 months ago with S Times. But that's another artist that wasn't mentioned. Shout out S Times. But yeah, Trub, easily top 5. We bumping him up. All right, y'all. Now we at Mike the Don. This is my guy, y'all. I had to pull up one of his videos real quick. But here's one of the key Tulsa / Muskogee artists that, he's valuable to the state, especially to the city of Tulsa. Everybody in Tulsa know who he is. If you make music, you know who Mike the Don is. I will argue in terms of longevity, there aren't very many artists that have been more consistent than Mike the Don has. And to say that he a top 10 artist doesn't sound crazy to me. I don't feel like if you saying that Mike the Don is top 10 in the state of Oklahoma, you sound crazy. But I do see why a lot of people would disagree, mostly because I feel like he hasn't done as much big collaborations as some other artists have. I feel like that's the only reason people in Lawton or people in Oklahoma City probably wouldn't vouch for him as much as us in Tulsa understand, because he hasn't done that. But he has done the footwork. You can find him on the platforms like Famous Animal. He's been going crazy. He's traveling and he making appearances in different states. He is no lazy artist. That's for sure. That's for certain. But I do feel like when you putting artists like Too Fat and DD under Mike the Don, there's an issue with his placement. I would say that if that's the case, we would have to bring Mike the Don down to make space for somebody who I feel like is more appropriate for a top, 9 artists in the state of Oklahoma. But that's the only reason why. Again, I don't feel like it's wrong to say he's a top 10, but I do feel like we might have dropped the ball with putting artists like Too Fat or Didi and, maybe one other artist, GQ, under Mike the Don. But major shout out to Mike. He is definitely deserving. And actually, once you do a little bit of maneuvering with some of the people that's listed before him, I think he still fits into that top 10 mark. But in terms of where he's at right now and how the list is, I would have to move him down. Hey, all right, come on now, y'all. Let's talk about it. If y'all know me, y'all know I'm a huge advocate for the West Lawton lyricist, Mr. Mo Pesci, Mr. I Put the Mo in Motion. You know what I'm saying? This is one of my all-time favorite Oklahoma artists. I feel like he is one of the main artists from Oklahoma that has industry potential, in my immature opinion. But this is because I feel like he has an outstanding image. He has a very versatile style. His demeanor and his personality are all key factors in what makes him stand out more than most artists. There aren't many artists that stand out like he does, and he has a writing style that's comparable to Lil Wayne back in 2009. Like No Ceilings, Lil Wayne. Like his metaphors and his punchlines are just like top tier. Like he's very fun to listen to if you are a person that listens to lyrics. But with all that said, okay, here's the punch that y'all didn't see coming. Y'all thought that I was gonna be like, yeah, Mo is top 10. Look, Mo is a monster and still one of my favorites. I could rap 3 of his songs word for word right now. But there is a small issue. 2025 wasn't Mo's most productive year, and it did sort of surprise me how he moved up from number 9 last year to number 8 this year. I personally wouldn't have rated him so high on the list without some form of an explanation. But as a fan, I love this. But as a critic, I would actually have to bump Pesci out of the top 10. Man, that's crazy to say, but that's just the honest truth. I would have to bump him down just to make space for some of the artists that I say I felt like were more productive this year. If you know what I mean, you know what I mean. All right, y'all. We at number 7, Lotto Cash Cow. Come on, man. Let's talk about it. First off, shout out Lotto, bro. Shout out to the Northside legend, Northside landlord. This was impressive for me to see him rank so high when this year was just as productive as all the other years that he been making music. Lotto has never been like a lazy artist. He got a very entertaining catalog. I mean, like, look, he got the June feature right here. He's been working and he got hours of music and content that can easily be consumed. Okay, so something about the production does still seem to be lacking to make a true connection to Oklahoma ears and conversations, but the tangibles are there. Some people might even say that Lotto is a top 10. I would say they mostly got it right. I'll say they mostly got it right. Yeah. All right. Phil Sosa. Come on now, y'all. Phil Sosa's top 5. Not outside of the top 5, y'all. Come on now. Phil Sosa. We got to put Phil Sosa in the top 5. I would love an explanation as to why he wasn't put in the top 3. You know what I'm saying? I would like somebody to kind of explain that, why he ain't. But there's no easier recognizable artist in Oklahoma than Phil Sosa besides Gang Ta June or 51 June. If you are ever to introduce somebody to an artist, if you ever introduce a stranger to an Oklahoma artist, Phil Sosa is going to be one of the people that you want to introduce them to. Arguably the best that Oklahoma has to offer that's not a signed artist, that's not an industry artist. You get what I'm saying? It basically don't get no better than Phil, in my opinion. So I feel like he's just one signature away from being disqualified from a list like this. All he got to do is sign to a label, and he ain't even allowed to get on these type of up and coming artist lists, in my opinion. But until then, I feel like he should probably be number 1. So I would have to move Phil Sosa up on this list. All right, let's talk about it, y'all. We got Illa up, man, at top 5 artists in Oklahoma. So I feel like we got to talk about this. Y'all see it right there. DJ Drama. Illa plus DJ Drama. This is huge, right? Illa is a very talented artist with a unique niche audience. She got a neat niche audience. She doesn't just like got a whole bunch of, YNs listening to her music like most of the artists on this list do. This is like the hip hop rap list. You know what I'm saying? I feel like her creativity is something that you should study. Like, look at it. She's different. You know what I'm saying? She's very different. Um, this is an Oklahoma artist that is regularly in rooms that a lot of us just don't have the ability to get in. I done seen her in rooms with DJ Drama, The Game. I think I just recently saw her in a studio with Jeremiah. Like, come on, bro. This is not normal. And she's from Oklahoma, bro. Let's talk about it. She is generally making what I would call, hopefully this wouldn't offend her, but like a contemporary neo soul type of music. That's what I would categorize her generally as. Not a rapper though, you know what I'm saying? So it does confuse me as to why she's on this list. A couple years ago, she did the DJ Drama collab. That was pretty huge and unreal. It's unusual to see that she's the only artist of her genre on the list and in the top 5 at that without no explanation. 2025 wasn't even her most productive year. It's dope to see that she's still finding new ways to perfect her craft. And if you're someone who want to learn what the true essence of an artist is, this is somebody you want to follow. But it was interesting to me how Illa is top 5 in Oklahoma, but artists like Chloe Hart and Imani Sings got no placement because I feel like they are very comparable to Illa, and I don't feel like, even if they not this close to her, they not so far out of the loop that they couldn't also been within the top 30 if Illa is top 5. That's just the conclusion I'm drawing from it. But ultimately, I would say that it's probably going to be more beneficial in the future to separate genres, like, allow singers to be in a singing category or a very specific singing category, and the same thing for the hip hop artists. So that said, I would probably have to take this year of Illa's production and bump her down on the list out of the top 5, respectfully though. All right, y'all, let's talk about it. We got Juice the Mac up now at number 4. I feel like Juice is a top 5 artist in Oklahoma. He's always in all the right rooms. He with all the right people. He got on all the right platforms. Like, look at this. This music video is on freaking World Star. Like, ain't no other artist on World Star YouTube. They might be on the World Star website, but he's the only Oklahoma artist you're gonna find on the World Star YouTube. You feel me? Prove me wrong. Hopefully y'all can't. I don't think y'all can, but prove me wrong. All right. The only thing short of a mainstream Juice that we are needing is a hit. And the way I see it is, as long as you keep swinging, eventually you're gonna hit something. So I would say that's the only thing that's making him still relevant for a list like this, is that we don't have that list that hit to connect him to. But the consistency is there, no doubt. The image is there, no doubt. I mean, look at him. This is like, he has some of the best videos. Bro looks good. I think this is tight. No doubt he's a great representative for the state of Oklahoma. You see him with the Oklahoma City jersey on all the time, or some form of Oklahoma apparel. He got DJ Wayne in the video. Like, he's really stamped as an Oklahoman. No denying that. And I would say he's easily a top 5 artist until he get that one little hit that we need that just kind of push him out of these lists for good. So ultimately, I would say BMF got it right. All right, now we are on to the top 3 artists in the state of Oklahoma, starting with Mr. Jake Benfield. One word, not 2 words. Make sure y'all get that right. So it looks like he's from Tulsa, possibly. I'm not sure exactly what part of Oklahoma he's from, but it looked like he's from Tulsa. You see the numbers that this man is doing is ridiculous. Like, check him out, you feel me? I didn't know about him until Big Mouth Filmz put us on to him with this top 3 placement. So shout out to y'all for that. Now y'all already know I got something to say, but ultimately shout out to y'all for putting him on this list. Now this was an interesting addition to our list because he's a core country singer. He basically does country music. Not exactly what qualified him to be on the top 3 Oklahoma artists when there are other young country singers from Oklahoma that are doing arguably more than Jake Benfield. There are at least one other, Brian, I forget his last name, Zach Bryan. that's, you know, he's doing more than Jake Banfield. So I was, and he's from like Ulaga. And I was just wondering, like, what made Jake qualify for a top Oklahoma artist, but why wasn't Zach on here? You know what I'm saying? I don't know what the difference is. And then, even with that being said, I don't understand why Jake is number 3. He's doing way more than any. You could combine 2 artists off of this top 30 list, and they won't even be doing comparable to what Jake Banfield is doing. Jake Banfield is arguably the number 1 artist on the list, not number 3. So I didn't understand why he was the only country artist in a state full of country artists. Like, if y'all don't know that Oklahoma is like one of the leaders in the world in country music. So it was just interesting to see that we put Jake Banfield of all artists as the only one on this list. But it could be his connection to the culture, or maybe he knows somebody, or maybe it was just a play to make us more familiar with Oklahoma artist that's doing big things in the country music industry. And if that was the case, I feel like they were successful with it. But, you know, that's why criteria as to why certain artists are making the list and others aren't is important. So shout out to Jake Banfield, dope ad. But me personally, I would disqualify Jake as a top 30 artist. A top 30 Oklahoma artist, because the criteria of the list subconsciously points to hip hop artist. So shout out to Jake. If we're gonna keep you on the list, you need to be moved to number 1. Otherwise, we need to clear you out the way so that more qualified artists can make the spot. All right, let's talk about it, man. We got to talk about the star, man. Highland Star. We got him at a number 2 on the top 30 list. Highland is one of my generation of Oklahoma people's most decorated and what I would call successful artists. And I say he's very inspiring also. Bro got like songs with Lil Baby. Like, that's the biggest feature you can get in America right now on hip hop, and he got that feature. It was a couple years ago, but it's just the fact that you even in that kind of situation. You know what I'm saying? But he has had tremendous success with this YN singing series that he's been doing on TikTok and Instagram. I mean, the numbers on that stuff is stupid, and the press that he's getting behind it is crazy. We don't even got to add his Apple Music or his YouTube numbers. Like, let's just disqualify that off the top and just only talk about the success that he having with the YN series that he been doing this year. I mean, this dude's talent is taking him places that every artist wished that they could go. That's what I think. You know what I'm saying? I can only imagine adding Highland, artists like Highland, was just to further validate the list. I don't really think that they really care to put him on there more than just to validate the importance of the list, because I feel like we don't need to add Highland. We know that Highland is one of the best artists coming out of Oklahoma. And since he's like signed, or if he ain't signed, since he owned, why does he qualify but Charlie Wilson don't qualify? You know what I'm saying? What is the criteria that allows Highland to be on this? He's outranking all of these artists on such a high level that it's almost unfair to include him. And I just kind of feel like we should save these spots for more qualified artists. So if you ask me, I would disqualify Highland from this list, just so that we can make space for somebody who needs this spot. You know what I'm saying? Come on, Big Mouth. Let's do it right. Let's get Highland and these other top 3 artists out of the way, and let somebody that's up and coming still gain the success from this spotlight. All right, y'all. Come on now. Come on, bro. Why are we even talking about this? What are we doing, y'all? 5-1 is another example of an artist that I think does not belong on the list. When you get to a point where you're doing this in your videos all the time, you don't need to be on the top Oklahoma list no more. Like, come on, y'all, let's be for real. June could charge, when you get to the point of artistry where you could say, hey, y'all, I'm doing 10 $1,000 features, and people are lining up to pay it, you don't qualify for these lists anymore. It's not fair. You know what I'm saying? I don't think it's fair to add artists like this to the Oklahoma list without the criteria. Without the criteria. We're talking about one of the greatest Oklahoma artists in terms of all genres. He's up there in terms of all genres, and we got some genres that will actually surprise you in the rock and country music, like the Jake Banfields of the Oklahoma. But I feel like you gotta disqualify artists like June from these lists. Highland needs to not be on these type of lists. Jake Banfield. We need to have a very specific list for artists just like June, which is only gonna have like 2 or 3 people on it anyways. But let's give these number 1 spots to artists who actually can benefit from the spotlight. June does not benefit from being on this list. June don't belong on this list. He's doing too much. He's doing way too much. Like, he is tripping. Bro is tripping. He one of the only artists that's pulling up Maybach trucks, bouncing in the videos, big old chains. One of the only. Not saying there are other, but he's one of the only that actually looks like a very. I mean, y'all saw it. He touring. He doing arena show. 5,000 capacity people shows. He's headlining every show that he's on. Like no other artist on this list is doing that, including Highland. Only Jake Banfield, which is a country artist. Like June should not be on these type of lists. That's my take on the top 30 artists. And my closing comments is this. I feel like we all would shuffle up these lists a little bit different. Everybody would have their different takes on who should be number one and who wouldn't be number one. But ultimately, I feel like it's dope that Big Mouth TV is giving us the opportunity to indulge in content like this. Everybody should leave an opinion. Everybody should have something to say. We all should be talking about this kind of stuff. These are our Oklahoma artists. These guys are local today and mainstream tomorrow. And somebody that's not on this list right now is going to be at the top of it next year. These lists change every single year. And the only thing that's keeping you from being on it is being productive. Be productive and you'll be surprised where it'll take you. And I look forward to next year's list and the year after that. I'm a big fan of this stuff. I love watching artists just like some people love watching birds. Just like some people love watching Netflix, I love watching artists. I enjoy doing the research on all these guys, learning about them, about the people they collab with, the type of ideas they come up with, the type of quality they working with. I love this kind of stuff. I love listening to you guys' music. I'm a big fan of it, and I look forward to hearing more. But with no further ado, that's my take on the top 30 artists. That's all 30. We've been here for an hour and 30 minutes. I said 10 minutes, bro. We've been here for a long time. I'm out of here, y'all. Let's get it.